welcome to part 2. In yesterday's episode, we demoed Metro Siege on the A500 Mini. This is a new game coming out for the Amiga this year. Today, I'm giving you guys exclusive footage and dev commentary from an unnamed game codenamed Scorpion Boy.
This is a joint project between BitBeamCannon and Pixel Class. It's in early development, so for now there's just this one short repeating sandbox level. So far, this not yet named game features multi-layered parallax scrolling, over 50 colors on screen, translucent color effects, and some pretty unique gameplay features. Holding down and pressing jump will do an evasive slide move. Well-timed sword slashes can repel enemy shots right back at them. Holding down while standing will block enemies and their projectiles, and actually deflect them at a right angle, allowing you to hit other enemies with the deflected shots or actually activate hidden triggers. Holding down while pressing attack while in the air will perform a downward stab, which deals heavy damage to enemies, but be careful, if you miss the enemy and stab the ground, your sword will get stuck there, leaving you vulnerable. You can wiggle your gamepad or arcade stick left and right a few times to pull the sword out faster. Up in the attack button can throw a weapon, and currently there are two types, a bomb and a boomerang, which you can switch between with the keyboard or one of the other CD32 gamepad buttons. The plan is for this to end up a full commercial game, with the proceeds helping to fund Scorpion Engine and BitBeamCannon's game projects.
So let's have a play. Let's have a bash at this demo, shall we? Okay, we got the B is jump. Now, yes, we can do the little sword dash that you saw in the demo. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh my goodness, I'm down already. What on earth is this voodoo? Voodoo, I am dead. I am dead. Let's go again. So you can... Oh, okay. So if you press L, you can change the weapon. If you see in the bottom, we have this like fireball, and then we have this weird laser beam thing. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's kick him. Can we waste him? Can we waste him? Yeah, we can get up here. Nice, nice. I think we need to kill this guy. I think we need to kill him. We're going from above. Oh, he's going down, mate, I'm telling you. We collect whatever that is. Yes, so you can... Okay, so kill enemies, collect whatever it is you collect. This looks absolutely stunning. Not gonna lie. Let's see if we can... I like the little sword dive thing you can do. But again, it does leave you vulnerable to being hit there, which I was hit. Are we climbing these trees? Okay, let's see. Ooh. See if we can change the This is super cool. This feels like really responsive. I don't feel even any input latency whatsoever. Get them? Yes, we can. Okay, yeah, so I think that's it. I'm gonna blitz through it again. The devs did say it was Mike that said that the demo, the only thing that's available yet is literally what I've just played there. So that's cool. Like this. See if there's any additional moves I can get. I want to make use of the power. How do I actually fire that thing? I think it was by pure fluke last time. Oh, right, that thing. Let's go. Ooh. No, I'm vulnerable. There we go. Yeah. You get this cool jump ability there with the slaying of that one. I think you've got to use it sparingly, though, because... Try this now. Should have a... Nope. I mean, that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to hear more information about this. It's super exciting. So much good stuff is coming onto the Amiga for 2022. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty darn stoked.
Hi everyone, I am here with Eric, and as I mentioned to Eric, I recently, got the scorpion sting. I've been watching some of Eric's live streams where he's demonstrating the Scorpion engine, and I just got that irresistible itch to basically retool and edit one of my old game idea mockups to hopefully work very well with the Scorpion engine. So now I'm going to show everyone who ends up watching this video and Eric how that's looking now. So Eric saw this when it was more rough around the edges. So can you see this on your screen, Eric?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so things are cleaned up quite a bit more. I've pretty much perfected the palette to where I want it to be, and the idea is that this will be a 16-color game, but put heavy use to the sprite background. And what is it called when you reuse the sprites on different vertical positions? Multiplex?
Oh, multiplexing, yes.
So that's how we get that nice colorful background back there, and then these stone formations down at the bottom. And it will not have the player character repeated across the screen. That's just so I could test how well they stand out over the background. So that's how that's looking. So now the first step, I've already had a brief conversation in the past with Eric. I started getting some stuff ready, and can you let me know if this is correct, Eric? This is 32 pixels wide. It only uses 3 colors per scan line. Down here, it's technically 4 color. Let's see here.
Because of the
black.
Now, sorry, just one thing about the rock at the bottom.
Yep.
So I see you've got the same black for the back shade as for the cutout.
It looks like that right here, but it's not. Are you talking about?
They actually
it's a different
colors?
Index, but let's see. It is actually 000, which it probably shouldn't be. It should be a slightly different value as well, just so that there's no confusion. Something like this.
Yep.
So I can re-export that, but it is using a different index. So it's the other trick I didn't fix yet. That's a good point. Is let me load this image in here in my pixel art program. Let's see. So this still should be that same index. So let me make sure the color bit depth is correct. Promotion is great. I can mimic the Amiga's exact color bit depth to make sure I'm not creating
excellent. Yep.
accidental colors that don't exist. But the other issue is I plan on this eventually being made. This is made out of 2 3-color sprites, but the plan is that down here would use 4 sprites total. And obviously they're not repeating sprites, they would just scroll off the screen and loop around. But the trick is that these 2 sprites are one 3-color palette, and then these 2 sprites are a different 3-color palette, so that there's actually 4 colors in use. And does that make sense? So like the highlighted side, you'll see this dark color here is not used here, and the highlight color is instead. But that doesn't help with this. I have to pick one of those palettes. I can't have both. So I'd have to do to do something. Yep.
So I guess it comes down to so if you were to do it this way and you were to have the parallax system will only work with up to 4 colors maximum, including the background color.
Per scan line, right?
Yep. The other idea you suggested where you split it into halves, where you have a different 3-color palettes on each side, I think technically that should be doable. It's not something I've actually tried to do in Scorpion, but I think I can think of some ways that it could be done.
Right. In other words, there's no way to declare it an attached sprite according to the hardware because it's using 2, unless you, right? Like it's... you'd have to manually make them separate sprites, always in the same position side by side.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so, but for now, this should fix the palette issue, because that is my goal. I do want to reuse these same two sprites that are used for the background up there for this one, and tell it to not repeat. Does that make sense? Because that'll free up that palette.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so I think I get the idea. So you use of course with the parallax system you can set the colors
Yep,
for each scan line for that last sprite.
yep,
So for that last bit, like you may actually have like you wouldn't actually use the sprite in the
background.
parallax background, but
But this
you would
sets up
use
the
that to
palette
set
for
the
it.
colors. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sets up the palette,
yep,
and then you can use those objects elsewhere. So I think Scorpion will do that. That is a little outside the box,
yep.
but
That's me.
so far as what people have done before. But I
Right.
think we should be able to do go that way.
Yep. It's excellent. So as you can see, I designed it to make sure that the actual foreground graphics, or we would call it background graphics according to hardware, but the actual tile map graphics, they make sure that there's a several pixel vertical space here so that we have room to switch up those sprites to no longer be needing them for the background, to switch them to appear above the tile map graphics. And so that way we could change that palette of those sprites one last time and bring it to the front to make this side of the rock formation.
Mm.
So far, so good.
Yep.
So,
Yep. So far, so good. So I just wanted to clarify So there's no vertical scrolling in this game, right? It's all horizontal.
in this map, I'm hoping that we could end up supporting both. This map is taller than I can make it shorter for now, but it is taller. It's based on tiles. So if you want to do math, I'm an artist, but 16 pixel tile, so 16 times 16.
Oh, okay. So that's 256 tall.
Yeah, so that's a little taller than like I'm
Yes.
shooting for
So
like a 200. Or what is by default? Do you remember what the Super Nintendo
yeah. So
default height is?
it is 224 high.
Okay, so I'd like to match that if
Um,
possible. And there's
so
a
it
HUD
looks
bar on
like
top.
you could take two tiles off the top, and you would only really lose like the top of the tree.
Yep. But so
Oh, now that was with Oh, sorry. So that mock-up you've got there with the UI, I
yeah,
presume that's 224 in total, including the HUD at the top.
exactly. Or it's
So
supposed to be. So
Scorpion will support 224 for the game area, and then you can use up to 256 for um, the HUD.
gotcha. So when I made this mock-up actually is only 200 pixels high. It's because I grew up in
Oh,
America
okay. So
with NTSC.
NTSC. Yep.
But
Okay.
I do want to shoot for actual Super Nintendo resolution,
Yep.
so we can expand that. But I would like to keep, if possible, some vertical scrolling, not in the back sprites, but just in the foreground layer, like the actual tile map playable kind of a layer, just to keep the a lot of Amiga games, for obvious reasons, for performance, they're purely horizontal scrolling, and it obviously helps for performance, but at the same time it does feel kind of locked and kind of rigid, so which is fine for a lot of games and fine for shmups. But I thought in our previous conversation you had said that by default Scorpion Engine supports 8-way scrolling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So the scrolling engine is 8-way, regardless of whether you're only using it horizontal or vertically.
Right.
I guess my one worry about, well, the reason why I brought up whether vertical scrolling here is used or not is because we just want to make sure that those foreground rocks
Yep.
never overlap the background because
Yep.
of those
Yep.
palette issues.
Yeah, exactly. This would be as high as they ever get, and when you jump
Yep.
up, they would go lower, but they would never go up above the back layers.
Mm.
All right. So the question is, so I did start as you. Okay, so let me see. I did update. Did I save it yet? Let me see. Go back to this. So I'm going to save this. I assume it's just analyzing the actual pixel colors and the palette doesn't matter, so long as it's only got
That
Amiga compatible colors and only 3 per scan line. Or
Yep,
4
that's
with
correct. And
Okay.
it should tell you if any of the lines have more than 4 colors. It should tell you, and it should tell you which line you need to edit.
Okay. And then
So I
Yep.
take it that's a full alpha'd
Yes.
map, which is good.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that's what you needed, but I was just about to ask, so okay. Oops.
No, I think that will work.
Okay.
I think I might have mentioned last time that there's 2 general ways that you can create a Scorpion map. So
Right.
one of them is you start with the tile set, and then you draw the tile sets onto an empty map. But the other way is to do it backwards, where you've got in there, you've got in your image of what you want the map to look like, and it generates the tile set from that.
Right.
Making sure that it doesn't flood the memory by
Creating a billion.
having multiple copies of each. So it only includes 1 copy of each tile.
Okay, yeah, so that's a problem. This definitely has reuse of a bunch of tiles in the image.
Yep, so I'll only add each of those once.
So I would literally have to look for everywhere in the map that has a duplicate and delete all but one of the duplicates.
No, you won't need to do that. It takes care of that automatically. So if it sees that, this tile that I'm adding to the tile set is the same as the last,
Okay, so
the
it
same
does
as the
that.
previous one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can import this, and it's going to figure out what the tile set is and generate the tile map.
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. I just saw another stray pixel. Not that it's relevant for this, but a little obsessive here. Hold on a second.
Yep. No worries.
Save image. Okay. All right, so we've got that. That's definitely what I wanted to hopefully get started on, but I did have another question, and that is regarding if you look at, let's see, I'm actually starting my animations in Spriter, but then I'm bringing them into the animation tool that I co-create called, ProMotion, and then I'm bringing them into Spriter to work on them more and to be able to work in layers. So I just created for now I want to keep memory usage as low as possible and then add to it if possible. So I've created a 3-frame run, so it just ping-pongs back and forth. But you can see he has no weapon there, and I decided in this game I'm going to give the guy a big sword. So...
Okay.
Yep.
And you want to have the sword as like a separate object at least some of the time, or
yes, eventually it would be really cool. What I'm thinking right now is that as part of the gameplay mechanic and story throughout the game is basically the sword will either you'll have different swords or the sword will magically transform itself to different swords with different abilities, which is similar to our other game Damon Claw, where it's a gauntlet that transforms itself in every level to a different gauntlet. But so eventually yes, but for now to just get it in there and working, I just baked the sword in to a lot of the animations, but that's the other reason I'm doing it in Spriter, so I can very quickly... Do I have it open? Yes. So so this is Spriter, and in a lot of these, like here's idle, you could see the sword is a separate object, and he's broken into body parts that allowed me to do simple animations like this idle.
Oh, yep.
But eventually, the thing I'd be worried about is I would export the animations without the sword, and then so it would be the full body, and then the sword would just be a separate blitted overlay in the game that we could swap out with other swords. Oh, is the sword disappearing? That's weird. Must have accidentally deleted it in one frame. There we go.
Right. So the long and short of it is currently there's no support for animations that are made up of multiple bobs,
Right.
like you would have in this or in Metro Siege.
Right.
The intention is eventually, as you know, I'm sort of on the cusp of starting my Patreon.
Right.
And one of the first things I'm going to release on that is Retro Animator.
Awesome.
Which is,
Yep.
And once that's done, then I may look at, well, how do I integrate this with Scorpion? How can I make Scorpion import animations where there are multiple bobs that are all blitted together? With Scorpion at the moment, there are one or two projects where it sort of does something where, like, for example, you've got two different actors, or you've got multiple different actors, and they're
always on
they're
top of
connected
each
together.
other. Yep.
Yep. But there are problems with that. For example, it means that you've got, because it treats them as two different actors, you've got double the AI logic, Z buffer sorting, all of that.
Right.
On top of that, it currently doesn't do what the Metro Siege engine does, where it only does a cleanup blit on once per tile.
Right.
So what I'll be able to do when I've integrated the different integrated the ability to have multiple bobs in a frame is I'll be able to say exactly which tiles need to be tidied up for this animation.
Right.
But at the moment, you would need to have two different actors, and it would mean that there was twice as much tidying up.
Right. Yeah, so that's why for now I definitely am going to just export these full frame with the sword built right in.
Yep.
And then as Scorpion develops, and like for the sword, we wouldn't necessarily need full retro animation modular support. The other thing I was thinking right now, does a Scorpion engine, I'm pretty sure it allows for per frame of animation adding like a spawning point or anchor point type thing where it would like spawn a bullet from or some stuff like that.
Yes. Admittedly, that's one part of the application I have to tidy up a bit, so it's a little bit frustrating selecting the other object and then lining it up on the different shoot directions to make sure that the origin point is exactly correct, but in principle it does support that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's another possibility, is to just for me to hand place it, but then like you said, that's still less optimized because it's going to basically potentially have to clean up the same tile area twice because Scorpion isn't yet optimized to.
Although, having said that, you were designing these as hardware sprites, right?
No, actually, the original way, the original discussion when I showed you, I had mocked it up so that I was going to use a very sneaky trick where the character was a hybrid of a Bob and single 3-color overlay sprite to add a bit more color. But I actually managed to retool the palette just a little bit more to give him all the colors he needs and free back up that sprite. And that allows for a lot better use of keeping all the rest of the sprites available for doing more detailed foreground parallaxing. Yep. So that's what I really wanted to. I wanted to free back up that palette and free back up. The other issue was with the Z ordering of the way Amiga sprites worked. If I needed to have a sprite for him, it really messed up. Most of the other sprites could not go in front of his sprite. So that was a really heavy price to pay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I
can understand.
Yeah, so I reworked the palette, and thank goodness, like it took some time, but I got that 16-color palette really, really flexible and managed to work in the additional smoothness to the skin tones in that pink color. Before, those were what I needed the sprites for. And now you could see up here it's got the pink color, and right there it's got that extra skin color, which really keeps things nice and smooth looking.
An Amiga game codenamed Scorpion Boy. Please let me know what you guys think. I think it looks really nice. I love the kind of purple and blue colour palette, the little parallax scrolling in the background. From what I've played, I'm sure there's plenty more to come, because obviously in the demo that you saw, voiceovered by Mike, there was so many more features that I couldn't use in the demo. So this must be like super duper early. very early kind of pre-alpha, I'm guessing, footage from what I've just demoed. So it's exciting, and I would hope to work with BitBeamCannon more in the future and give you guys more up-to-date developments on their projects going forward. So if that's what you'd like to see, maybe you guys can help me all out and BitBeamCannon by sharing this episode onto Reddit, onto Twitter, and let's get the word out there for the Amiga fans all over the world. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave a like, rate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you soon. I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video.